There is a rhythm already shaping your life. Not the rhythm of time, not the rhythm of logic or effort, but a rhythm far more subtle, the silent frequency you've been vibrating since the moment you woke up this morning. And the truth is, you are not waiting for the universe to respond. The universe is already responding, right now, to something you may not even realize you're broadcasting. Every thought you rehearse, every emotion you sustain, every belief you hold on to, even unconsciously, sends out a signal. And that signal doesn't disappear. It echoes, it entangles, it shapes. But here's what most people miss. You're not manifesting from the words you speak. You're manifesting from the frequency you embody, and that frequency is not random. It follows patterns, sacred, invisible patterns that have existed long before we gave them names. One of those patterns, perhaps the most misunderstood of all, is encoded in 3 numbers: 3, 6, and 9. Maybe you've heard the stories that Tesla called these numbers the key to the universe, that he was obsessed with them, so much so that he would walk around a block 3 times before entering a building, or choose hotel rooms divisible by 3, 6, or 9. And you might have wondered, why? What did he see that others didn't? The answer is not just historical, because these numbers aren't just numerological curiosities, they are frequencies, templates, a triad encoded not in symbols, but in energy. And they correspond not just to the structure of reality, but to the process of manifestation itself. 3 is the frequency of creation, 6 is the frequency of activation, 9 is the frequency of completion. Together, they form a cycle, a spiral, not a line, that mirrors how the quantum field moves from possibility to reality. But let's bring this to you, right now. Ask yourself, what have you been trying to manifest? What version of you have you been attempting to become? Maybe you've tried affirmations, visualization. Maybe you've written your goals down 100 times, but something hasn't landed, something still feels missing. What if the problem isn't what you want, but how you're vibrating? Because repetition without coherence is just noise, but repetition with intention, aligned with frequency, becomes signal. And the universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. That's the essence of the 3 to 6 9 code. It's not superstition. It's not wishful thinking. It's the process of attuning yourself, day by day, breath by breath, to the field that's already reflecting versions of your life back to you. In this video, we're not just going to explain the 3 to 6 9 method. We're going to decode why it works, and how you can use it to collapse timelines, rewrite patterns, and entangle with the version of you that already exists on the other side of your current identity. Because manifestation is not magic, it's resonance. And the 369 is not a trick, it's a tuning fork. So let's begin not with theory, but with awareness. You are already broadcasting. The question is, what is your frequency saying about you right now? And are you ready to rewrite it? You're not here to chase your dream life. You're here to remember it. And the 3 to 6 9 frequency is not a method for wishful thinking. It's a way to step back into resonance with the version of reality that already contains what you seek. What most people don't realize is that manifestation is not about forcing the world to deliver your desires. It's about tuning yourself to the field where your desires already exist. This is why Tesla's obsession with 3, 6, and 9 wasn't mathematical eccentricity. It was vibrational precision. Because the universe doesn't organize itself randomly. It follows patterns. And those patterns repeat, everywhere, in the spin of galaxies, in the flow of water, in the shape of sound, and inside your own consciousness. So when you hear someone say, repeat your affirmation 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times at night, you're not just engaging in a habit. You're syncing with a pulse that's already embedded in the structure of creation. 3 is not just a number. It's the archetype of beginning, the spark, the seed, the idea. 6 is movement, harmony, the bridge between intention and form. And 9 is the collapse, the completion, the moment when the invisible becomes undeniable. That's why these numbers matter. Not because of superstition, but because of synchronization. Let's slow this down. Imagine waking up and starting your day not just by thinking about what you want, but by aligning with the version of you that already has it. That's the first three. You're not planting a wish. You're planting identity. You repeat the same message, not to convince the universe, but to remind your field, this is who I am now. Then at midday, when the noise of the world tries to pull you back into your old patterns, you realign with 6. You reinforce the bridge. You recalibrate the signal. And at night, the most powerful moment when the subconscious is open, you repeat 9. You seal the frequency. You imprint the new self-image not just into thought, but into vibration. This is coherence. This is resonance. And this is what most people never learn. The method only works when the feeling matches the message. Tesla knew that energy, frequency, and vibration were not just concepts. They were the architecture of everything. He once said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So why would we treat manifestation like a mental game, when the key is vibrational alignment? Science now echoes what mystics and visionaries have always known. Your thoughts influence your field, your emotions collapse possibilities, and your intentions, when sustained with presence, begin to reorganize matter. That's not fantasy. That's physics. That's neuroplasticity. That's quantum feedback. And when you combine all three, thought, emotion, intention, inside a daily rhythm that mirrors universal design, you don't just manifest more. You begin to live from the version of you that already has what you were looking for. The 369 is not a script. It's a tuning fork. And every time you use it with presence, you amplify your signal. The question is not whether it works. The question is, are you ready to stop repeating affirmations and start becoming the frequency behind them? Because the real code isn't the numbers. It's who you become while aligning with them. And when that happens, when your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are no longer fragmented, the universe doesn't just listen, it responds. You've probably heard this method before. Write your desire 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times at night. That's the 3-6-9 technique. Simple, repetitive, almost mechanical. And that's exactly where most people stop. At the surface. They treat it like a checklist, a routine. Something to do because they were told it might work. But here's the truth no one tells you. The 3-6-9 method doesn't work because of the numbers alone. It works when you become the frequency behind the repetition. Without that, it's not manifestation, it's mimicry. Let's go deeper. When you repeat something 3 times in the morning, you're not just setting an intention. You're initiating a vibrational pattern at the most crucial time of the day, when your mind is closest to the subconscious state. Right after waking, your brain is still cycling through theta waves. It's open, impressionable, like wet clay. Whatever you impress into it isn't just stored as information, it's accepted as identity. So if you repeat a statement like, I am abundant, with your full attention and feeling, you're not just saying it, you're becoming it. You're sending that signal into your nervous system, into your field, into the quantum vacuum that records and reflects your vibrational state. But the method doesn't stop there. 6 times in the afternoon isn't random. By then, the momentum of your day, your thoughts, your stress, your distractions, have likely pulled you out of alignment. The 6 is a reset, a reconnection, a moment to pause and pull yourself back into the frequency you chose that morning. It's a midday course correction. And neurologically it matters, because repetition spaced across time, especially when paired with elevated emotion, strengthens synaptic connections. This is how you train your brain to think from the future instead of rehearsing the past. And then comes 9, the completion, the collapse. At night, your subconscious opens again. Your brain waves slow down, and now you have the opportunity to seal the frequency you've been carrying all day. Not just through words, but through emotional memory. The way you go to sleep, what you feel, what you focus on, sets the tone for what your subconscious will process during sleep. And sleep is where your identity is reorganized. That's why 9 isn't just the end of the sequence, it's the moment of surrender. The final imprint. The signal you send into the quantum field when all conscious effort fades. This entire process, 369, isn't linear. It's cyclical. It's a spiral of vibrational alignment. And when done with presence and consistency, something profound begins to happen. Your nervous system starts expecting your new identity. Your energy field begins to carry it before there's any external proof. And that's the key. You don't wait for results to feel different. You feel different first, and then your results begin to align. Joe Dispenza teaches this with clarity. Your personality creates your personal reality, which means if you don't change who you're being, what you think, how you feel, what you believe, you'll keep getting the same experiences. The 3-6-9 method, when done right, isn't about getting something. It's about changing your state of being so thoroughly that your outer world has no choice but to mirror that shift. The science backs this. Neuroplasticity shows us that our brains are not fixed. They're malleable, flexible, they change based on thought and experience. And your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined event and a real one. That's why when you combine repetition with vivid visualization and emotion, the 3 ingredients of manifestation, you create a feedback loop between your inner world and the quantum field. But none of this happens through automation. You can write something down 3,000 times and still be stuck, because frequency isn't in the act, it's in the feeling, the state, the coherence between what you're saying, what you're seeing, and what you're feeling. That's the true method. The real 369. It's not a number game. It's a vibrational protocol. And here's the most important truth. When you do this with presence, you start to notice subtle changes. Opportunities appear. People respond differently. You feel less reactive, more tuned, and slowly, or sometimes, suddenly, reality begins to reorganize itself around your new identity. This is not magic. It's mechanics, quantum mechanics, and you are the observer. So if you've tried the 3-6-9 method before and felt it didn't work, pause. Ask yourself, was I present? Was I coherent? Was I feeling what I was writing? Or was I just repeating words and hoping they would fix something? Because once you understand that the method is a mirror and you are the message, the numbers begin to work not because they're special, but because you are. And when that realization clicks, your entire experience of manifestation changes. You move from hoping to harmonizing. Let's do something different now. Not just understand, but feel. Not just hear the code, but enter it. Because the truth is, no shift happens through knowledge alone. Shift happens when knowledge meets embodiment. And right now, we're going to enter the 3-6-9 field together. Start by taking a breath. A deep one. Inhale through the nose, slowly, and exhale gently through the mouth. Again. Inhale. Exhale. Feel your body soften. Feel your attention return to the now. There's nothing else to do, nothing else to figure out. Just this moment, your inner world, and the field that's listening. Now, close your eyes if you can, and imagine something simple but clear. The version of you that already lives the reality you desire. Not the version that's trying, not the version that's healing, the version that has already aligned. Who are they? What are they feeling right now? How do they stand? How do they breathe? What do they believe without needing to convince themselves? Pause with that image. Let it become vivid. See where they are. Hear what's around them. And more importantly, feel what they're feeling. Let your chest expand. Let your heart recognize what's already yours vibrationally. Now, we activate the code. In your mind, or out loud if you're alone, speak this phrase 3 times. I am now aligned with the version of me that already lives my desired reality. Again, 3 times, slowly, with emotion. Not as performance, but as remembrance. This is the morning frequency, the first wave, the creation pulse, Now imagine it's midday. You've moved through a few hours. Life has tried to pull your focus, but instead of drifting, you return to the code. You repeat the same phrase, this time 6 times. Each time with more strength, more clarity, more coherence. This is the bridge. The alignment between what you said this morning and how you're acting now. Feel that alignment lock in, like tuning an instrument that was slightly out of key. And finally, imagine it's night. The sun is gone. The world is quiet. And now you return to your statement one last time. 9 repetitions with full feeling. No forcing, no wishing. Just presence, just energy, just truth. 9 times you remind your subconscious, this is who I am now. This is how the code begins. To embed not in your calendar, but in your cells. When you do this consistently, not out of pressure but out of devotion, something changes. You wake up with less doubt. You speak with more certainty. You notice synchronicities. Moments of reflection in the outer world that match your inner broadcast. That's not random. That's coherence. You've shifted from asking to being. And being is the only language the universe actually responds to. Now, to seal this ritual in your field, we're going to do something simple, symbolic, but powerful. A collective act of frequency anchoring. If this practice touched something in you, if you could feel even a glimpse of that higher version of yourself resonating back, comment below. I am tuned to 3-6-9. Not because the comment is magic, but because declaring it, publicly, intentionally, sends a ripple through your nervous system and through the field. You're not just participating in content, you're participating in coherence. You're not just listening, you're vibrating. This is how we shift as individuals, and this is how we begin to shift as a collective. And remember, this is not about doing it perfectly. It's about doing it presently, with honesty, with emotion, with faith in the unseen. The universe doesn't need perfection. It needs alignment. So take another breath. One last time. Inhale presence. Exhale resistance. Let the silence after this video be your initiation. Let the repetition become your recalibration. And let the numbers, 3, 6, and 9, be the reminder that your reality isn't waiting to be created. It's waiting to be remembered. Here's the truth most people never fully absorb. You're not trying to get somewhere. You're trying to return. The future you want isn't out there. It's entangled with you already. But it can only meet you when you start acting, breathing, choosing, as the version of yourself who already lives that future. This is the forgotten law of manifestation. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And the 3-6-9 isn't just a ritual to get what you desire. It's a daily tuning into the vibration of the you who already has it. So the real shift is not about repeating a phrase. It's about collapsing an identity. Not just visualizing something better, but releasing the version of you who keeps broadcasting lack, doubt, and delay. Every time you say I am in the 3-6-9 sequence, you're not making a wish. You're making a declaration to the field. You're choosing which version of yourself becomes the observer. And in quantum physics, the observer is the one who collapses the wave. Let's pause with that. When you feel something deeply and you pair it with focused thought and intention, your nervous system begins to accept it as real. And if sustained, this alignment between mind and emotion creates coherence, both in the brain and in the heart. And coherence is what the quantum field responds to. So manifestation isn't a transaction, it's a transformation. You're not asking life for anything. You're becoming someone that life naturally reflects abundance, love, and freedom to, because you are the vibrational match to those things. This is why the 369 code is so powerful when used correctly. It's a permission slip to stop waiting and start remembering, a way to move from the mindset of someday into the embodiment of now. Morning becomes a moment to declare your identity. Midday becomes a checkpoint to return to it. Evening becomes the imprinting of that identity into your subconscious. And day by day you start to feel it, a softening of resistance, a quiet confidence, A sense that something inside you knows, this is already done. People around you might not understand the shift at first. That's okay. They don't need to. Because reality doesn't change when the world sees you differently. It changes when you see yourself differently, consistently, deeply, and vibrationally. Let's make this even more real. Imagine if you already lived the life you're trying to manifest. Not one day. Now. What choices would you make today? How would you speak? How would you move through this moment? That alignment, that embodiment, is the portal. And the 3-6-9 method is simply the compass that keeps you pointed there. Not to impress the field, but to impress the frequency of your desired self so deeply within your being that the field has no choice but to reflect it. You begin to notice patterns breaking, opportunities aligning, people responding differently, not because you forced change, but because you stopped being the version of yourself that was aligned with delay and started being the version aligned with already. This is the essence of quantum manifestation. Collapse the identity, and the timeline follows. You don't chase, you tune, you don't beg, you become. And the most profound part? This isn't about effort. It's about presence. Energy doesn't lie. The universe doesn't listen to your doubts. It listens to your vibration. And the moment your being matches your desire, not in words, but in energy, the field recognizes it. And reality begins to reorganize. So don't wait for a sign. You are the sign. The evidence isn't outside. It's who you're being. Right now, every 3 to 6 to 9 cycle is a chance to become that version again and again, until it's not a ritual anymore. It's your baseline frequency. And when that happens, manifestation isn't something you do. It's something that happens naturally, inevitably, and with grace. There's a frequency that doesn't shout. It doesn't beg, it doesn't chase, it simply is. It vibrates quietly beneath the noise, steady, certain, present. That's the frequency of the version of you who's no longer asking if it's working because they already know it is. The greatest shifts don't happen in the doing. They happen in the being. In the moments no one sees. The breath you take when no one is watching. The thought you choose when your old patterns want to pull you back. The softness with which you let go of needing proof. Because your field has already changed. This is what the 3 to 6 9 frequency trains you into. Not an obsession with outcomes, but a relationship with alignment. A relationship with your own power. Because when you show up day after day and tune into the same vibration with presence and coherence, you stop doubting, you stop forcing, and you begin to embody a deeper truth, that your external life is not a mystery, it's a mirror, and the mirror is listening, always. You don't need to convince it, you just need to become consistent enough, still enough, clear enough, that it has no choice but to reflect who you really are. That's why this isn't about manifesting one thing. It's about becoming the kind of person who can manifest anything, because they are no longer misaligned with their own frequency. Because they no longer contradict themselves. Because they no longer betray their vision with hesitation and fear. You've already felt glimpses of this version of yourself, the one who speaks from clarity, the one who moves from certainty, the one who doesn't perform or posture but radiates. This is the you that the 3-6-9 method is helping you return to. Slowly, subtly, powerfully, and it doesn't happen all at once, but it does happen. One repetition at a time, one alignment at a time, one moment of choosing presence over pattern, awareness over reaction, trust over tension. Eventually, this becomes your baseline. Not a technique you apply, but a frequency you live from. And when that happens, manifestation is no longer a goal, it's a side effect of coherence, of clarity, of conscious vibration. And the most beautiful part is this: you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present, over and over again, because reality doesn't change from big dramatic actions. It changes from subtle, sustained alignment. So when you finish this video, don't go looking for more answers. Go inward. Breathe into your center, Return to your code. Repeat it not as a wish, but as a remembering. I am now aligned with the version of me that already lives my desired reality. Let that be your mantra, your anchor, your home frequency. And if this message resonated with you, if something stirred, softened, or awakened, consider subscribing to remain connected to a field, a resonance. We are a community of people tuning into the silent language of the quantum together. Because you're not alone in this. And the version of you that already lives your next reality is not far away. It's entangled with you, right now. So breathe, trust, and tune in again.